Janelle Burton at the free throw line, can't knock down the extra point after getting the and one, and here come the Bearcats. They lead it 12-8 with 15:25 left first half. Up top of the key, it's Hawkins. Hawkins drives left lane, kicks it down left corner for Welty. Welty back to Hawkins as he drives down low, finds a wide open cut for Hawkins. And he comes away with his first bucket of the afternoon. It's 14-8, Bearcats on top. John Burton up top of the floor, drives it near side, now onto the right corner. Dribbles left hand, tries to back it up out top of the key, but will sit there right wing. Bounce pass into the entry-level stop for Janelle Burton as he tries to pop one up and float it in. Only one touch on that possession for Lincoln, and Northwest Missouri State has the ball back. Hudgens drives left side lane and gets it to the cup over the head of Janelle Burton. 16-8, the lead is back up, doubled for Northwest Missouri State at the 14:40 mark in the first half.
Yeah, it's tough when you don't have Deshaun in there to really create some offense.
Ivory with the ball, left wing now drives inside, gives to Terrence Smith at the free throw line, faked out the shot, now kicks it right corner. Three for Janelle Burton, too strong, and last touch out of bounds by Grant Olson as he fought for the rebound.
Yeah, Jono is getting in this kind of lull right now where he feels like he's got to do everything. You've got to be in kind of the place he was yesterday, being willing to be a distributor.
McKeelan Taylor will check in for Terrence Smith, his first break of the game. Northwest Missouri State will have the ball inbounded with Diego Bernard. Bernard keys it in as Hudgens will walk it across the timeline, far side. Dribbles right hand, then back with the left and passes the right wing back to Welty, then a back up top to Hudgens. Hudgens brings the ball to the near side of the arc. Now kicks it far right side back to Wittes. Wittes right corner pass to Bernard. And Bernard will shoot from downtown. Bernard cans it.
This zone defense isn't working. They need to go to man. Leaving too many open shooters wide open, and Northwest isn't missing a shot.
6 minutes into the game, Bearcats lead the Blue Tigers 19-8. Right wing with the ball, it's Tez Ivory, then swing it left side, back for Janelle Burton. Goes up against Bernard down low, and again a one-touch set. Airballs the ball right into the hands of Hudgens. Here comes Hudgens back the other way. Bearcats back with the ball, right to left they work. Hudgens shakes and bakes down low, draws two men. Open three for Wittes, and the MIAA Player of the Year forces a timeout by the hand of John Mosley. Bearcats lead at 22-8 with 13:32 to play.
I don't know how you go against a team that's shooting over 80% in the first 7 minutes. 9 from 11 from the field. How about 3 or 4 from 3? They're unstoppable right now. I mean, it's tough when, defensively, you kind of get in these lulls where you're allowing open shooters to be open. I mean, that's what is his first open jump shot. But offensively, you can't always work through Janelle. You've got to be able to space the floor a little bit better. You know that he's going to press as far as trying to score a lot. So right now, this is an opportunity for John Mosley to really calm things down and say, hey, guys, we've got to go on a run of ourselves, and we've got to get back to playing our offense because Northwest is getting in transition right now.
Right now, it's me basketball for Lincoln. Janelle Burton has taken 6 out of the 9 shots for Lincoln so far. Terrence Smith has 1. He's 1 for 1 from the floor. Rick Maiden is 0 for 1, and Tez Ivory is 0 for 1 as well. Meanwhile, John Burton 2 of 6 from the floor, and Lincoln really could use a ball distributor now. But Janelle Burton will take a seat on the bench, and it'll be John Burton, Rick Maiden, Grant Olson, Tez Ivory, and LaKeelan Taylor out right now for Lincoln as we resume play at the 13:35 mark first half. 22-8, number 1 Bearcats lead it here early. Rick Maiden up top of the key, hands off John Burton left wing, now tries to pass it down low, but has it stolen away. Here's Hudgens bringing it back the other way with his 35th steal of the season.
This pressure on the defensive end is just absolutely insurmountable right now from Northwest.
Lincoln switches to the man-to-man zone the man-to-man set out of the timeout, and a foul call down low with Hudgens trying to go to the cup. That'll be John Burton's first foul and the team's second. Hudgens will go to the free throw line, averaging 19 points per game and an all-MIAA first-team member as he knocks down the first free throw. 23-8 after the extra point and 13-11 left in the half. Hudgens with 5 points now. Ryan Welty checks out, and we'll see Kirk Finley for the first time today. Second free throw is nothing but net. The score sits 24-8 in favor of Northwest Missouri State. Have a stoppage of play here. And
Diego Bernard was bleeding, and they couldn't keep the game going with him bleeding. You've got to get that all taped up.
Thing I saw was that there were a couple of kids with towels at the near baseline, and they ran out to mop up some stuff on the floor and thought maybe that was why they were stopping the play. But we'll get back to business with Bernard getting looked at on his left hand. Here's Rick Maiden with the ball as he passes off right wing for Tez Ivory, then up top of the key for Taylor. Taylor drives left side and tripped up by Ryan Hawkins. Hawkins, another member of the All-MIAA defensive team. I believe we got 4 total players, 3 on Northwest Missouri State and 2 on Lincoln. Or pardon me, 1 on Lincoln. That's Janelle Burton. But we'll reset with 20 seconds on the shot clock, 1 second under the 13-minute mark. Inbounded to Grant Olson, then back up top of the key from Rick Maiden. Rick Maiden gets the pick set, now drives right side lane. Underneath, reverse layup, and can't get it to rattle home.
It's like a 10 on the cup right now for Lincoln. That's a really good play to go up and under right there from Deshaun.
Maybe some Reynolds wrap, they can't get through. Wittes plays catch with Hudgens, gets the ball back, fires a 3, and what a beautiful arcing shot. Nothing but nylon. 27-8, and the Bearcats are opening this one up big. It's a 27-2 run right now. Lincoln start out the game scoring the first 6 points, and since the 18-minute mark, it's been nothing but Bearcats. Lincoln back with the ball left to right. Ivory up top of the key, passes off to Rick Maiden left wing. Now dribble drives down into the paint, drives right side, and called for the palming.
Yeah, ball raised above his waist and wasn't able to keep his hand on top of the basketball. Deshaun gets away with a lot of those for the most part, but that one was just so obvious.
Janelle Burton comes in for Rick Maiden, as well as Terrence Smith checks in for Grant Olson. Northwest with the ball. Hudgens across the timeline. Right side lane kicks up top for Wittes. MIAA Player of the Year dribbles down low, now surveys his options. Kicks it back out top of the key for Bernard. 16 seconds on the shot clock. Bernard dribbles right hand, now thinks about the pull-up, instead kicks left with the drive for Hawkins. And Hawkins will pick up the foul against Terrence Smith on the block. That'll bring us to the under 12 timeout. 11:49 left in the first half. Northwest Missouri State 27, Lincoln 8. We'll be right back here on KJLU 88.9 FM, Jefferson City. You're listening to Lincoln Blue Tiger basketball. Welcome back to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The Missouri Tigers getting ready to set to receive this kickoff from Joseph Bulovas. He just capped off the Alabama drive, which was set up by a short field position on an interception by Savion Smith, his second interception of the year. Bulovas was able to punch it through the uprights, and Alabama leads it 10-0 with 13:07 to go in the first quarter.
Missouri was just punished by what Alabama does best, scoring early and scoring often.
Kick is underway from the 35, end over end. Tyler Beatty at the 1-yard line, and that's where he'll field it. Brings it out 5, 10, 15, dodges the man at the 15, and he's up to the 19-yard line if the referees will give him a generous spot, and that's where Missouri will take it over after Ale Kahu took it over.
For Missouri, holding Alabama to just 3 points, I should say, ultimately getting them to 4th down and 7. That is a little moral victory on the defensive end. 50-50 ball of Drew Locks gets intercepted on his first passing play of the game. You walk away from that one not necessarily knowing what to take from it, but the fact that the defense was able to record a stop there and keep the Tide out of the end zone is huge.
Missouri shows pistol 1st and 10 from their own 19. Demarie Crockett in the backfield. Handoff to Crockett. Tries to bounce off a tackle, and he's wrapped up at the 15-yard line. That's a loss of 4, and Isaiah Buggs from Louisiana, the big senior there to put him down.
That was actually Christian Miller who broke through the line. Columbia, South Carolina native Mizzou faced off against the Gamecocks last week. He read that one perfectly. I did not, James. Sorry for pointing you on the wrong spot there. But Demarie Crockett completely snuffed out in the backfield, and Missouri has not been able to get anything going on the ground so far.
Missouri once again with the ball right hash. Going left to right. 2nd down and 16 with 12:28 and counting to go. First quarter down by 10. Handoff again goes to Crockett, and he's sacked. Or I should say wrapped up by a sea of crimson after a gain of maybe 1 or 2. LeBrian Ray led the charge on that one, and it's 3rd down and long for Missouri. A long 12 yards to go with the ball on their own 17. They got to get the ball all the way up to the Alabama 29.5, or I should say their own 29.5 to move the sticks.
In my opinion, if you're Missouri, go with a conservative play call here. Not necessarily a run, but a high percentage pass, because you don't want to risk giving Alabama another great spot deep in their own red zone here on their own 15. Should be a high percentage pass here from Missouri and Drew Lock.
Crockett to the left of Locke in the sidecar. Shotgun set, dual receivers split out left and right. Locke back to pass, pocket collapsing, airs it out over the middle, and Okawebanam catches it at the 39.
Fantastic throw and an even better catch by Albert Okawebanam, covered by two Alabama defenders softly, Savion Smith and Deontay Thompson in coverage. That one was sailing over the head of Okawebanam, but he reared back, leaned back, caught it over his head, and was able to catch it as it fell to the ground.
Drew Lock found something he likes, and he's going to bring Ben back in. Up to the line of scrimmage quickly in the no-huddle play. It's a 1 yard run for Crockett, and it'll set up 2nd down and 9, and now Missouri will take their time. They get the plays from the sideline, 11:15 to go in the first quarter. 2nd down and 8, Alabama leading 10-0.
These offenses started so quickly, didn't even have time to give you the starting lineups. Paul Adams in at right guard, Okawebanam the tight end, Johnson the slot receiver, Hall is out for this one, Cam Scott starting at wide receiver, Locke at quarterback, Crockett in the backfield with them, Jalen Knox starting at the other wide receiver for Missouri on offense.
And actually, they bring in Tyler Beatty. He's into the set. Shotgun. Left to right goes Missouri. Locke all by himself back to pass. Looks for a man upfield as Jonathan Johnson, but incomplete. Tried to connect with him at the 45, but thrown at the feet, and there's no way Johnson can catch it. That'll bring up 3rd down and 8, and the student section's going to get loud once again.
Yeah, and it looked like there was a bit of miscommunication there for Missouri on offense. Jonathan Johnson not on the same page. Locke delivered that ball well behind him. They'll bring up 3rd and long for Missouri, and I say, again, go with something conservative. You don't want to hear it with the ball on your own 42. You do not want to risk giving Alabama good field position. Take a conservative play call here, maybe even a run, punt the ball away and play some defense for Missouri. You do not want to get overwhelmed. They certainly do. The play calling is reflecting it.
Crockett lines back up into the formation, moves from pistol to shotgun right of Drew Lock, and now Drew Lock waves him to the left side. There's miscommunication in the backfield. Play clock winding down, and Missouri takes the timeout.
Bryant-Denny Stadium's crowd's going to get an assist on that one. Crowd got loud and into the game for the first time. So many questions around the Alabama fan base this year. Fans have been leaving the game early. They haven't been pleased with their 11 a.m. kickoffs back on September 29th against Louisiana Lafayette in the game that the Tide completely rolled. Students left for the seats early. We talked to some Alabama students. We got some perspective on that. Lots of different opinions, especially from Coach Saban, who called students out in his weekly presser after that game. But the students backed up their position, saying, hey, you know, we're winning by so much, it's easy to get entitled and spoiled, but they have surely shown out for this one. A big note for this one headed into the evening. Huge tradition for Alabama. They've done it for years. It stopped in 2014. They played Dixieland Delight at the end of the 3rd quarter. That tradition returns tonight in an effort to get more people excited and back into the games. Obviously, Alabama's been beating people with video game stats and numbers. It's hard to get the fan base riled up and excited for each and every game, but that's something that the athletic department, James, decided that they want to do to bring the measure. You'll hear that after the 3rd quarter. The rule from the athletic department is that the students have to keep it clean. So in the past, they've had some vulgar chants at LSU. Obviously a fierce rival in Tennessee. They'll play them next week. And then, of course, their Iron Bowl opponent, Auburn. Some vulgar chants towards them in between the rests on Dixieland Delight. So that song returns, James, but that's huge for this crowd, and they seem to have shown up accordingly.
Well, there is not an empty seat in the Alabama student section. It spreads from the right end zone all the way from the right corner to the left corner and then some up to the 30-yard line. So if there's at least 1,000 people per section, you could say there's 10,000 Alabama-plus fans of the student variety.
But
and they've come out in droves to support him tonight.
Sure thing. It is worth noting, though, that the Missouri faithful did travel very, very well. The Missouri section is completely filled up. There's fans sprinkled in on the top sections, all between intermittent and the bowl. So Missouri, no matter what the outcome of this game, should be very proud of how they showed out. You saw on Twitter, you saw in some KOMU updates that some Tuscaloosa natives and Alabama fans said they hadn't seen a road team travel to Tuscaloosa like Missouri has in a long, long time. And why not?
The next time they play, it's in 2030 at the very least.
Well, that here in Alabama, it's going to be scheduled for the 2030 season, but Alabama will travel to Columbia in 2024. James, let's mark that on our calendar and go back as alumni for sure.
Hopefully we still won't be there. 3rd down and 8 for Missouri. 10:47 to go first quarter. The Tigers are down 10-0 to the Alabama Crimson Tide.
They have the ball at their own 42. They got to get to midfield to convert. Missouri shows shotgun set with trips receivers to the left, ball right hash. Locke claps the hand, snap is back belt length, and the screen pass is deflected. Intended for Demaria Crockett at the 40-yard line, and Alabama got a hand on it. One of the big defensive linebackers, it's Afferny Jennings.
Great play by Afferny Jennings. Locke was flush from the pocket. All of his high percentage routes, looks like Missouri came out with slants, were completely covered. He was going to check it down to Tyler Beatty in the backfield. Nothing doing there. Great read for Afferny Jennings and the big linebacker. He's had his hands on some huge defensive plays for Alabama in the regular season. He was able to get his left paw up and knock that one back in Drew Locke's face.
So Jalen Waddle back to receive this punt, a dynamic punt returner. Corey Fatoni boots this one. Really good distance, and Waddle fair catches it at the 11-yard line. So that's a really good field position flip for the Missouri Tigers. As Tucker, keep mixing them up. Corey Fatoni, one of those guys that, well, was one of the best punters in the nation last year. And if you wanted to call it that, the Texas Bowl featured the two best punters in the entire country last season, with the Texas Longhorns punter receiving player of the game.
Yeah, that was Michael Dixon, an NFL draftee, actually. He's starting for the Seattle Seahawks these days, so good for him. But Corey Fatoni flips the field, a 50-yard boot there. Senior from Franklin, Tennessee. Tiger fans surely going to miss him and his ability to flip the field next season.
1, 2, 3. Turn it up.
FM presents Saturday Night SEC Football live from the house that Brian built in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The Missouri Tigers make their first trip ever to T-Town, and Bryant-Denny Stadium is rocking with white and crimson. Hello, my name is James Stanley alongside Garrett Jones for tonight's matchup between the Missouri Tigers and the #1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. This may be the best atmosphere in college football, and it could not be a more perfect night. 76 degrees and not a cloud in the sky, Garrett.
Oh, it is absolutely beautiful. I got goosebumps in the pregame as the Alabama $1 Million Band played their fight song, Yay Alabama. This place is completely packed. There's a slight breeze, blowing from the southwest. This place is completely covered in crimson. Nonetheless, a strong contingency of Tiger fans, so Missouri should be proud no matter what the result of tonight's game.
And we were supposed to have a flyover from the 58th U.S. Air Force Squadron from Columbus, Mississippi, but they have yet to show up. So if you suddenly hear some loud engines coming over the stadium, well, that's exactly what that is. It's not your radio combusting from the inside. With that being said, the Missouri Tigers in this series trail Alabama 3-2. The Tigers won the first two games all the way back in the 70s and the 60s, but the Alabama Crimson Tide have come out on top the last 3 times.
Yeah, they've dominated in the modern setting. In 2012, exactly 6 years ago today, Alabama beat Missouri 42-10 in one of Missouri's first ever SEC matchups. And then in 2014, the Tigers' second of their 2 SEC championship game appearances in 2013 and 14. Missouri came up short again, 42-13 to the Crimson Tide in that one. Their last meeting back in 2014.
Roll Tide spelled out on the field as the Alabama Crimson Tide are getting ready to come out of the locker room. Missouri, meanwhile, has their team captains led by Drew Locke entering from the right corner of the end zone as they come out to await the pregame festivities at midfield. We'll see who will receive the kickoff momentarily, but with that being said, Alabama is ready to go, and they're ready to win their 4th game in a row if they can over the Missouri Tigers. And the Tigers' first win again coming all the way back in 1968, the 1968 Gator Bowl. Man, of times have changed. Bear Bryant was the coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, and Dan Devine was at the helm for the Missouri Tigers.
Yeah, things have changed, but certainly not the coaching pedigree here at Alabama. You know, the guy on the sidelines for the Crimson Tide is Nick Saban in his 12th year at Alabama, previous 10 years with the Miami Dolphins of the NFL and the LSU Tigers of the SEC. He has a 55-10 record in SEC home games, 39-6 at Alabama, and he has really turned the tide, no pun intended, on this program. They were in a definite dry spell. They lost to UL Monroe at home in his first season back in 2007, but since he's taken over, they produced 27 national award winners. That's just a testament to how much of a winning culture and legacy Nick Saban has shaped in his time here.
Well, Garrett, it's not very many places you see a stadium where they have a statue of the current head coach, and here comes Nick Saban leading his boys in crimson Out onto the field. Missouri was still yet to take the field, but